Hello, I'm Alex Armstrong and this is GBN Originals. Well, this week you'll have heard the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. Yes, he's been strutting about at a Downing Street press conference, hasn't he? Puffing out his chest, claiming he's boosting our armed forces by 13.4 billion a year, every year from 2027. Now, you might be asking, haven't I heard all this before? Well, you'd be right. Rishi Sunak, the former Conservative Prime Minister, made this exact same pledge back in April 2024. And furthermore, the Reform UK manifesto also pledged a 2.5% increase on a much more ambitious timeline of 2027, with that reaching 3% by 2030. Well, on first glance, Starmer's pledge does sound impressive. A lifeline for our troops, perhaps. An investment in our ever-important national security. But hold your horses, folks, because less than 24 hours later, his own Defence Secretary, John Healey, has failed to confirm whether or not this money is going to be spent on the botched Chagos Islands surrender deal. So, what is the real figure? Well, a measly 6 billion we're hearing. Yep, you heard that right. Starmer's team seem to be playing fast and loose with these numbers. But here's the real kicker. Starmer is demolishing the foreign aid budget to fund this new pledge. It would seem to many that Starmer is following lock and step with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, who have just entirely shut down USAID. That's the US Aid Department in America. But let's rewind to Tuesday. Starmer's in the Commons. Very statesman-like, he's announcing a defence boost from 2.3% of GDP to 2.5%. That's 13.4 billion more every year, he bellows. Just days before he jets off to face off with Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. But then, Kemi Badenoch stands up at PMQs and asks, will you rule out using this money to fund your Chagos giveaway? 3 times she presses him, and 3 times he waffles on. And then finally, the truth, as always does, oozes out. Wednesday morning, the day after, John Healey is then left on the ropes, being forced to admit that the 13.4 billion may indeed be calculated as 6 billion. Bit odd, because that's half of what Starmer so proudly trumpeted. In my opinion, the Institute for Fiscal Studies nailed it. They said Labour's playing silly games with the numbers, pretending the budget would have been frozen to inflate their figures. This isn't a boost, it's a con. To put it plainly, that's billions ripped from international aid to bankroll that 9 billion Chagos deal, and that's 90 million a year for 99 years, to lease back our own Diego Garcia base from Mauritius. This is a strategic gem in the Indian Ocean, vital for keeping China in check, and it's been handed over to a nation cozy with Beijing. And we're paying the rent for it.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
This whole deal is such a mess, the Foreign Secretary has even had to begrudgingly say, if Trump doesn't like it, it's off. Well, it's all rather pathetic for our once great nation, isn't it? A Foreign Secretary openly admitting our foreign policy is at the mercy of a US veto because Labour has botched it so badly. This entire ordeal has got to be the worst, most embarrassing foreign policy balls up since the Suez Crisis. Now, Lammy's humiliation just gets worse. Last month, he's in Chad, all teary-eyed, pledging 20 million for Sudanese refugees. We must not forget Sudan, he cries, posing for cameras. Well, fast forward to now, that aid budget's being gutted to fund the Chagos farce. The Telegraph says we've already thrown 12 million at Mauritius for solar panels, green handouts for a nation flush with Chinese cash. Lammy's promises to Ukraine, Gaza, Sudan might be protected, he says, but the rest, gone. He's not just a hypocrite now, is he? He's a laughing stock. He's bounced into this mess by Starmer's number fudging. What are we wasting aid on while Starmer bleeds it dry? Well, brace yourselves, because it's pure lunacy. GB News dug up some dirt on this. It's 1.5 million for shrimp farms in Bangladesh. Prawns, not people. Albania got $500 million for Porsches for their prison service. Porsches! I can't afford one, and I pay my taxes. Malaysia's Kuala Lumpur, richer than Cardiff by a long shot. They bagged $2 million for AI traffic lights. China, and yes, this is China we're talking about, they got cash for an all-female opera in Ordos, a city wealthier than Swansea. Rwanda's blokes got $3 million for yoga to fix toxic masculinity. Yoga, for Christ's sake. Mexico City's better off than Cornwall, or they nabbed $1 million for floods. This isn't aid, is it? This is the reality. It's not aid. It's a taxpayer-funded farce. And now Starmer's axing it to give Mauritius a $9 billion bung that could wipe out their national debt. This is Robin Hood in reverse, says the IEA. They're robbing Britain's poor to fatten foreign wallets. And what's even worse is that once Conservative leader hopeful and the man that initiated these Chagos negotiations, James Cleverly MP, well, last night on X, he claims that Starmer took the easy option, stripping money from the poorest in the world and undermining our global influence. Are the Tories Labour now? So what is this $9 billion with Chagos buying us then? A security nightmare, in my opinion. Diego Garcia's a UK-US linchpin. Lose control of that, and China's got a massive foothold. Mauritius isn't shy, by the way. They want backdated rent to 1968. And of course, they're not going to sign it unless Trump nods. Well, Keir Starmer is off to Washington. He's begging Trump to save his bacon, isn't he? And Trump's team, Marco Rubio and co., they call this deal a threat to US security. Well, if he bins it, good riddance. But don't bet on Labour learning from this farce. At home, our forces are absolutely knackered. Ships mothballed, ammo scarce, troop numbers below 70,000. Ex-defence chiefs say 6 billion won't touch the sides. Pensioners are freezing, farmers are facing ruin, council tax is soaring, yet Starmer's splashing billions abroad still while fudging the figures for a potential defence increase. The hypocrisy is off the charts. Governments are meant to look after their citizens first. And Starmer's 13.4 billion boast has been unravelled in just one day. He's been caught red-handed by his own minister. I think Priti Patel is bang on about this. She said Labour is more lefty human rights lawyers than they are patriots. Couldn't agree more. The Chagosians, exiled, ignored. Labour doesn't seem to care. Why not give them a say? If you care about democracy so much, why not let them have a referendum? All of this isn't a boost. It's a betrayal. It's masked by dodgy maths and aid cuts. Trump might kill this deal, well, let's hope he does, but Labour's already shown its colours. Weak, wasteful, and wedded to nonsense. Well, are you angry at Britain? Because I am. This is the biggest con that has been spent on your taxpayers' money since the French police force being given $500 million to stop the boats in Calais. Well, are you sick of funding shrimp and opera while Britain's left defenceless? Because I am. Thank you for watching. This has been Alex Armstrong. Don't forget to subscribe to the GB News YouTube channel for more.